We have gone live, and here's we go.
Good morning. It is November 8th. It's wonderful today. We are excited to get going. And please take out your phones. This is Leaders Worldwide. And we want to have you turn your phones off, please, so we won't interrupt anyone. I am Sally Reyes, your acting Sergeant at Arms, and I would like to have you help me welcome our president and distinguished Toastmaster and innovator continuous, the wonderful Cynthia Stott. Please welcome her.
Thank you, Sally. And yes, I am your innovator extraordinaire, and sometimes it drives my team crazy, but we'll keep going forward. I've got another one up my sleeve, which is a Leaders Worldwide TEDx event that we're hoping to get into the works, but I have to get a few things off my plate and onto a team member's plate before I can do that. So I am so excited to welcome you to Leaders Worldwide. I'm getting myself situated here, sorry. And I'm going to read the mission and vision of Toastmasters International and our club. Toastmasters International mission is to empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. The club mission is that to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in a greater self-confidence and personal development. And here at Leaders Worldwide, we were designed for politicians, business and nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, and others who want to make their message heartfelt, authentic, and ready for the worldwide stage. Our goals, our international values are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. And we hope that you enjoy today. We have just a few minutes to welcome our guests. Isaac, can you tell me which are our guests so I can welcome them? I can't see the screen.
Okay, we have Lori.
Lori, can you introduce yourself to the group? Welcome, Lori.
You are muted, Lori.
I think it's Laura.
Yeah.
Oh, Laura, sorry.
I was also checking, is there a Lori? But I thought it should be me. Good morning. For me, it's good evening. My name is Laura Nathany. I'm from the Netherlands, or currently living in the Netherlands. And I'm part of Toastmasters now for 2 years. And I'm really enjoying. And I'm also looking forward to be part of the meeting here tonight. So thank you.
Great. And I'm going to check later if you're our 37th country or if we've had somebody from the Netherlands before. So welcome, Laura.
Thank you.
Great. And who's next?
And then there's Evelyn.
Hi, Evelyn. Would you like to say hello?
I would. Hello. I'm Evelyn Khan-Pani. I'm from Society Toastmasters Club in Dublin, Ireland.
Ooh.
And it's 7 o'clock here in the evening.
Awesome. Oh, look at behind you. You've got a banner with lots of
that's our club banner because we're locked down, so we were asked to take everything home.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Wonderful. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Great. And who's our next guest?
Looks like Steve. He just logged in.
Hi, Steve. Welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself to the group?
Hi, I'm Steve. Today I'm with Oakland 88 Toastmasters and Alameda Tongue Twisters, and I came to be part of Speechcraft.
Great. So can we put SC in front of his name? So G and SC?
Yeah, I can do that, or
let the Zoom host do it. So
okay,
we'll have
great.
SC and G. Oh, great. Perfect. Oh, you're fast. Welcome, Steve. And we're so happy to have you here. Great.
And then there is Philip.
Hi,
Welcome,
I'm Philip
Philip.
Khan-Pani. I'm Evelyn's other bit. And she's the president of Society Toastmasters in Dublin. And I'm the VPPR. And you see the banner behind me? That's also for Society.
Yes, that's our old banner. I love it.
I'm originally from London, but I am now living under the direction of Evelyn.
You're the boss. Evelyn. Awesome. Welcome, welcome. And who's next?
There's Rabia.
Rabia. Yay. Hi, Rabia. Want to introduce yourself to the group?
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Rabia, and I'm a Toastmaster in the TCF Toastmasters Club in Karachi. And I have been here before. I think many of you have met me. So hello, everyone.
Yes, you were our keynote presenter a few months ago. Love it, love it. And we're hoping to do a philanthropic arrangement with you to build a school in Pakistan. Great. In conjunction
Okay.
with our TEDx event. Who's next?
Gayatri. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
Gayatri, welcome.
Hi, Cynthia.
Hi.
I have not been, I mean, this is not my first time here, and I'm really looking forward to a session and another opportunity to listen to Talal bin Hamid. And this is the first time I'm going to see him as Toastmaster of the Day. So I'm really excited. And Victor as keynote speaker, that's again another thing I look forward to. And I have my another friend, Ekta Shetty, speaking, and another friend, Hannah, evaluating. So this is kind of a meeting that I really, really don't want to miss.
Yes, you're involved in every aspect of it. I love it. Thank you, Gayatri, because you
Then
brought
there
yourself,
is Anya.
yourself and the guest and the guest DTM speaker and the evaluator. I'm sorry, Isaac, was that Anya?
Yes.
Our guest timer, no, guest tabletop master.
Yes, that's correct. Tabletop is. Hi, everyone. Anya from Barbados. Is actually 10 past 3 here. I am a Toastmaster. They have me in a Toastmaster for just over 17 months. I'm loving the journey. I serve as Vice President of Education and in my club, and it is a very demanding role, but it is an enjoyable role because you do get to work with and help persons to improve and create learning opportunities for them. So I'm enjoying it. And thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Then there's Afria. Although I don't.
Afera. Afera?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
great. I'm
I
glad
guess.
you made it, Afera. Let's you welcome,
Yes,
welcome you.
Thank you, Cynthia, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me here. I'm looking forward to listening to today's session.
And you were another speaker along with Rosalind on the Global English Conference. It was great.
Yes, it was great, and we really enjoyed yesterday's session and today's session as well.
Yeah, I was
So
on yesterday, and Victor was on yesterday.
And Victor was on today too. No one
Wow.
bet Victor. He's wonderful.
Right. A double header. I love it. I love it. Okay, and who else do we have?
It looks like Hannah.
Oh, our guest DTM evaluator, Hannah. Welcome.
Yes, hi. I'm from Namibia, very far away from you. And I was invited by Gayatri, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Awesome.
And then there is Roger.
Roger, our welcome revisiting guest. Hi, Roger.
Hi. Yes, I'm from Quincy, Massachusetts, in the United States of America. So I've been a Toastmaster for 42 years, and I've been an area governor 5 times, a division governor twice. So I've been going all over the United States and different countries when the clubs went virtual. So I'm pretty well familiar with Toastmasters. So
Great. Welcome, welcome. We're so glad you're here.
I don't see any more. But if
think
I
we have
left you out,
but she accidentally left. She'll probably be right back because she's going to be our speaker today. So I'm so excited. So,
She had some network issue. She had some network issues, so she dropped off. She's joining back.
okay, great. Excellent. So we're going to move on to our Toastmaster of the day. It is a change in the agenda. It will be Tala bin Hamid, and then Rosemary will be our general evaluator. So without further ado, will you please help me welcome our Toastmaster of the day, DTM Tala bin Hamid. Woohoo!
Thank you so much, Madam President. Good morning, good evening, or in some cases, good midnight or early morning. Today's theme is a very interesting one. We could all be doing something else right now. For once, I could be sleeping or maybe having a Netflix session with my wife, or maybe reading something. At the same time, all of you could have been doing something else. But something drew us here. And that was the drive to do the right thing. And that is the theme of today's meeting. So I welcome all of you and congratulate you on your wonderful decision to leave aside all the other worldly attractions and coming to this Toastmasters meeting. Now today, we have another DTM showdown. It is a meeting where we have multiple DTMs speaking and evaluating. And it is always very exciting, especially for people like me who are spectating and who are not buried under the weight of expectations of being a DTM. So yeah, it's super fun. I'm sure all of you will have that fun too. It is my honor and privilege now to introduce our journal evaluator, and she is none other than DTM Rosalind Khan. I hope I pronounced it correctly right now, Rosalind, or at least it's better than before. So over to you for the proceedings.
Yes, it is my job today to be the general evaluator of our meeting today. I will be introducing the evaluators, and I will be calling for the timers report and the grammarians report at the end of today's meeting. Those are my duties for today. Thank you very much, Tala, and I'm glad to be of service.
Thank you so much. Now it's time to get to know our timer, who is my wonderful friend and a great Toastmaster who is crazy enough to be VP Education of 2 clubs simultaneously, Toastmaster Gayatri. Please introduce your role.
Thank you so much, DTM Tala. My dear friends, I am Gayatri and I will be your timer for today. And this is how I'm going to be showing my timer cards. For prepared speakers, it will be green card at 5 minutes, yellow card at 6 minutes, and red card at 7 minutes. For table topic speakers, green card at 1 minute, yellow card at 1 minute and 30 seconds, and red card at 2 minutes. For evaluators, green card at 2 minutes, yellow card at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and red card at 3 minutes. For the keynote address, I will be showing the cards as per the request by the speaker later on. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gayatri. And today, our keynote speaker is someone whom I look forward to hearing, because he is our very own Morgan Freeman. In fact, he sounds better than Morgan Freeman, in my humble opinion. He may try to tell you that he's a simple man, but this is not so. His lack of awards or evidence of erudition hides the depth of his personal growth. As a distinguished Toastmaster, he is a member of an elite group of only one person. He's a one-percenter, let me tell you. He loves the organization and believes it can help anyone get close to what they want in life. Their mission says so. He's a sought-after mentor, expert in easy speak, and an integral member of Leaders Worldwide Education team. Please help me welcome him as he tells us about the roles and responsibilities in a Toastmasters meeting and officers of the club. So with that, please put your hands together for our very own DTM Victor Irving Jenkins. Over to you, sir.
Well, so much for writing your own humble introduction. Really. What an extremely high bar you have set for the brother. Now, how am I going to live up to all that? I'll give him my best shot. But the first thing I'll do, I'll talk about the mission of a Toastmasters Club, because that's why we're here, and we've heard it earlier, but just to make it clear, the mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and a positive learning environment where every member gets the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. I am an addict for self-confidence and personal growth. Now, for the benefit of those of you who may not be familiar with what I mean when I say self-confidence and personal growth, let's put it this way. If somebody can push your buttons, if you have a button available to push, you still need some personal growth. If you are afraid to say something like that in front of a room full of people, then let's develop your self-confidence, because I'm not afraid to say something like that in the front of a room full of people. Now, Toastmasters is designed to accomplish its mission statement by doing something called the Distinguished Club Program. So everything that Toastmaster does, the way that the program works, is designed to foster self-confidence and personal growth. And I think we're all here because we like self-confidence and personal growth. Every role in Toastmasters is designed to move a club closer to the Distinguished Club Program, which moves the individual of the club closer to self-confidence and personal growth. Now, the roles in the Toastmasters clubs are as follows, and I think we're all Toastmasters, so we all know most of them. And for a lot of what I'm going to say, it might be reviewed to you, but since you've never heard me say it, who knows? It might end up being something new. Let's take Toastmaster, for instance. The #1 role is the Toastmaster in every meeting. I'm going to talk about the meeting roles, then I'll say a little something about the officer roles, and then by then, I'll be quiet and close my pie hole, which is going to make some people happy, and some of you are really going to be sad when I stop talking. But you know, you're just going to have to live with it, because that's what a Toastmasters meeting is designed. It's not a Victor club. It's not to promote Victor, so he doesn't get to run his mouth the whole time. Now, Toastmasters, if you've ever been to any sort of production, any sort of presentation or an evening of any kind, there's an MC. And that MC is functioning like what a Toastmaster would at a Toastmasters meeting, with some minor exceptions. At a Toastmasters meeting, years from now, when somebody think of a particular Toastmasters meeting, they will remember, or they ought to remember, who the Toastmaster was. And when you're the Toastmaster, your footprint is designed to be over the entire meeting. Now, that means a couple of things. That means that when it comes to the role players in a Toastmasters meeting, not the president, not the vice president of education, but it is the Toastmaster whose job it is to confirm the roles for every meeting. That won't work if the Toastmaster is late. That won't work if you change the Toastmaster. So when you are assigned to be the Toastmaster, a full week, maybe even 2 weeks before the meeting, it is your responsibility to find out who the role players are, and your responsibility to contact those role players by any means necessary to let them confirm their attendance with you. And that's important, because when people come to visit a Toastmasters meeting, people who haven't been to a Toastmasters meeting before, that's really all they have to evaluate whether they want to join your club. So the meeting's got to be tight, the meeting's got to be shiny, which means that the Toastmaster is going to have to rock. I also advocate that you be in your best togs when you're the Toastmaster. So when people remember you as being a Toastmaster, they remember you looking sharp. The next person, the next large role in a Toastmasters meeting is the general evaluator. Now, we all know who a general evaluator is and what they're supposed to do. What I find in Toastmasters is the reluctance of some general evaluators to call a spade a spade. The idea is to make each meeting better than the meeting prior to it. And that won't happen unless the general evaluator is candid in their assessment of what their opinion of is the meeting. Now, keep in mind, the general evaluator is not God. The general evaluator doesn't know everything. So the general evaluator, as they do the evaluation, they are giving it from their point of view. It is up to the participants in the meeting to decide whether what the general evaluator says has merit or not. keeping in mind that if you don't give it some merit, if you think that you are all that in every meeting, then your meetings will never improve. The next major role player is the table topics master. The table topics master does their best to interface the theme of the meeting with the participants in the meeting and the kind of questions that you ask them. Now, there are a number of different ways to do table topics. Some people advocate asking for permission, which I am not one of those. Some other people advocate choosing the table topics prior to the meeting, when I am not one of those. And then some people, which I am one of, advocate catching you with your pants down and asking you a question. Part of the whole Toastmasters experience, as I said, self-confidence and personal growth, in order for you to be able to function in your life, because most of the times you're speaking in your life, it's not prepared. Then somebody comes and asks you what you think of my shirt, you know, how about those cowboys? They ask you a question that's impromptu because you're not planning on speaking. So in order to build your impromptu muscle, you have to be caught answering a question that you didn't know was even going to come. Now, there is a concept. I was introduced to the idea that some people are uncomfortable in an impromptu situation, in a table topics meeting, in a Toastmaster meeting, and some people feel a lot of angst when they have to answer a table topics question. And so some people, they may be a little reluctant to answer a table topics question. And it's okay to be reluctant to answer a table topics question the first 5, 10, 15, 20 times you get the opportunity to do so. But that's what the self-confidence and personal growth is all about. Because while you might be a little apprehensive about it right now, after the 10th or 15th time, you won't be apprehensive about it. You know what you call that? You call that personal growth. Now, there are other roles in the meeting, like the evaluator. The evaluator gives their objective assessment of how you did in your talk. And no one needs to be sad about that, except I like to do the 3, well, there's different ways to do evaluation, and we can't get into it specifically because they only give me 15 minutes instead of the whole meeting. You know, imagine that. I have to get used to that. Not the whole meeting, just 15 minutes. So now after the evaluator, there are a couple of other roles. There's the timer, and that's self-explanatory. And there is some other roles that not every club has, but they add to the whole goal of Toastmasters, and that is roles like the joke master, right? There are roles like the arm master. You can tell what a joke master does. You can figure out what an arm master does as well. And these roles end up being part of what the general evaluator, the reports that the general evaluator does at the end of the meeting. So all of these roles come together to make us have a shiny meeting, a meeting that people come to and they remember. And you know, every role in the meeting is important, and you never know who the people who the attendees are going to resonate with, because the idea is for them to resonate with someone. As we have these meetings and as we grow our club, one way to get people to attend our meetings, which is going to make them join, is to tell them about somebody in the meeting. Now, I didn't mention the greeter role because everybody is a greeter. When we were meeting in person, at the beginning of the club that I'm a member of, there would be a buzz around it. You would think they were having a party. So similarly, in a Toastmasters meeting, when we're virtual, the same thing can be the case. Do our best to make the people who will come to the meeting feel welcome. Do our best to make them think that we are having a lot of fun. And for goodness sake, act like you like each other. Because if you act like you like each other, then other people will want to become a part of that little association. Make sense? Of course it makes sense. Now we'll talk a little bit about the officer roles. First and foremost in the role of the officer is the president. Now, the president of the club does not own the club. It is not called the Cynthia Stott Association or the Victor Irving Jenkins Club if he were the president. It is a Toastmasters club, and every single one of us take ownership of the club, including the other 6 officers. But the president is the figurehead, the president is the leader, and the president is the one that oversees the executive council meeting. And typically, the president knows something about Robert's Rules of Order. So if you've never been to an executive committee meeting. Oh, I do want to point out that there's a landscaper mowing my lawn right now, and he didn't know that I was going to be doing this, what I'm doing. So I hope that you can tolerate hearing the lawnmower in the background. So the president actually, if you wanted to draw an analogy, like I drew the analogy between the MC and the Toastmaster, the president can be likened to our president as well, right? That person says what's going to happen, and they're the figurehead, and they have people assigned to help them move the club forward. Now, the next person in terms of the officer roles is going to be the vice president of education. Now, in my never to be humble opinion, the vice president of education is the workhorse of the club. While the Toastmaster's job is provide personal growth and self-confidence, it's the vice president of education's job to make the president look good. It's not the president's job to make him look good, make her look good. It's the vice president of education's job to make the president look good. And when the president looks good, the club looks good. And when the club looks good, people join the club. And when people join the club has a bigger treasury and can put on bigger events. The vice president of education is the one that assigns all those roles I'm telling you about. Typically, the vice president of education assigns roles for 90 days in advance. That's my take on it. I believe that makes for distinguished clubs. It is the vice president of education who's always wanting to know how many goals we have for the distinguished club. Who's going to get the pathways level 2? Who's finished their pathways? It's the vice president of education's job to do that. And if the vice president of education do their job properly, then we won't have to worry about people thinking that this club is really the deal. It is also the vice president of education who assigns the mentors. Now, for the DTMs among us, and there's not an office of DTM, this is just my plug for the DTMs that I want to talk about. DTM stands for Distinguished Toastmasters, that's true. But this is also an acronym that stands for Destined to Mentor. When somebody joins the Toastmaster Club, here's what happens. I'm taking a break from the officer because I want to get this in before I run out of time. When somebody joins the Toastmaster Club, right after they fill out the application, the vice president of education assigns them a mentor. And as soon as the vice president of education assigns them a mentor, that mentor walks the person through the assessment on Toastmaster.org and help them choose their pathway. And right after that, that vice president of education assigns that person to do the icebreaker speech as quickly as possible. And the mentor connects with them to help them get ready for the icebreaker speech. Now that's the Toastmaster system. That's the Toastmaster program. I didn't make it up, but I got a degree in it. And I love doing it. So after the vice president of education comes the vice president of public relations. Now, the vice president of public relations is the one that makes anybody who is not in the club aware of the fact that the club exists. He tells them about this guy named Talib bin Hamid. He tells them about Feek the Sheik. He tells them about Catherine Peel, Mrs. Peel. He tells them about all these people, because you see, people will fly across the country to meet somebody. They'll turn off their television to meet somebody, but you know what? They're not even going to open the door to attend the meeting. So don't be trying to invite people to the meeting. We use the meeting to impress them. We don't invite them to come see a meeting, how great the meeting is. We have them come see Sally Elizabeth Reyes. Hey, come see Sally. Sally's got some things going on. That's how we do this again, the Toastmaster system. And it's up to the vice president of public relations to do that. The vice president of public relations, if he doesn't know how to make banner posters like Gayatri does, then he needs to find somebody who knows how to make banner posters like Gayatri does, because it is those banner posters that's going to attract people to the club. Now, this is all might be second nature to you, but you've never heard me say it, so you're probably thinking to yourself, wow, this guy really knows how to do it. Yeah, and I do. So the next officer is the vice president of membership. Now, the vice president of membership is the ones that never let any visitor leave the club without getting the information and reaching out to them. I'm a vice president of membership of another club. And if you visit that club, you'll see me in the video. And that video tells, hey, thank you for coming to visit our club. I'm Victor, I'm the vice president of membership, and we know that you probably want to be a member of this club, but we don't know, we want to let you. So if we want to let you, you get the idea. So you make it fun, you make it pleasant, and the vice president of education also thinks of ways to invite people to join the club. You have a large attendance, and when you have a large attendance, you'll know the quality of the club, because if the club doesn't have second-time visitors, if people come to your club one time, never to be seen or heard again, and don't answer your phone calls, then maybe you need to either spruce up your meeting or get your vice president of education beefed up on how to get people to come back to meetings. After the vice president of membership, we have the secretary. Now, of course, the secretary keeps track of everything that goes on in the meeting and typically sends out a report after the meeting to let everybody know what happened, particularly in the executive council meeting. Now, the executive committee meeting also is handled by the secretary. The executive committee meeting has everything annotated by secretary, and secretary mails it out. The treasurer is the person that handles the money. At our club, at one of my other clubs, when somebody wants to join, the vice president of membership and the treasurer have become good friends because they pass the application from one to the other, and the treasurer gets the money. So when you look at all the roles and all the officers that are in a Toastmasters club, clearly you could see how if you put them all together, you end up with a distinguished club. And having a distinguished club sets you apart from all the other clubs, and having DTMs in that distinguished clubs sets them apart from the other members. When you keep in mind, when you understand that only 5% of Toastmasters ever become DTMs, you can see how being a DTM is a feather in your cap. And for those of you that don't know, I happen to be a DTM. I just got one DTM, but once you become a DTM, then you take on the responsibility of giving back to the club, and you give back to the club by mentoring people. The worst, beg your pardon?
Time.
I'm looking for it. I pinned the timer before I started.
It's time, honey.
All right. Why am I embarrassed?
Can you just take a minute to wrap up?
Well, first of all, I'm not embarrassed. I'm glad I took all the time. So anyway, I'm Victor Irving Jenkins, and one tool that we have at our disposal is Easy Speak. You will be hearing a lot more about Easy Speak, because Easy Speak make it easier for the Vice President of Education to do the things that I said the Vice President of Education does. And it also makes it easy for you to do the things that I suggested that you do. So until the next time that you get to hear from me, or next time I get to hear from you, I want to encourage everybody in the room to do me a big favor. Can you do it? Have a good time until the next time. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Okay, and I'm going to go do Q&A with you before we end here. First of all, I would like you to talk a little bit about our officer teams that we have. Oh, can we have 3 minutes on the clock for the Q&A session? We'll cut it down to 3 from 5 minutes. And we have officer committee teams, and you're on that team for the education. So can you tell us a little bit more about how we would love for anyone interested in these officer positions to be on a team?
Well, first of all, we as officers are already checking out some of you, and we have our ideas about who we think would be good at the job. And one of them might be you. And the idea of the officer positions, contrary to many people, is that we're not looking to perfect serving the role. See, Toastmasters is to increase self-confidence and personal growth. So you don't have to know the role cold. I mean, think of your life. By the time you figure out how to live your life, it's almost over, right? So you don't have to know how to do the role, the totality of the length of the session. So if you think you are interested in the role, like if you think, for instance, that you know how to make brand posters, then get with the public relations person. If you fancy yourself as a leader If you think you're a leader and nobody's following you, you're probably just out taking a walk. If you want people to then start following you, get on the president's team, because we're looking for someone to take over the presidency, just like all the other roles. And then sometimes for the other people who are in offices already, some of you may step up to be the president. But the object is to make the club shiny, to make the club appealing, to become a distinguished club, to be that sort of club that you would be proud to invite people to visit. You know, you don't want to have anybody come to your house if you live in an ugly house, right? Same thing with the club. And you can do your part. And don't think that you don't have anything to contribute, because you do have something to contribute. If you didn't, we would have already voted you out of the club.
Great, great. And any other questions, you can post them in our chat. We did have a question from Philip. Maybe you can unmute your mic and state what your question is, because I wasn't sure what you were talking about.
Okay, my question is a very simple one. Toastmasters International have put in writing what each role involves. Many people take on a role in the club without reading that, and then they make it up as they go along. And that is what causes things to go wrong in a club, in my view. So wouldn't you want to recommend that anyone who takes on a role should start by reading what their role is supposed to be?
With all due respect, that certainly is good advice, but my number one thing is to get that person a mentor, and the mentor is going to tell them to read those roles. The mentor is going to guide them through the process. So you're absolutely right. I read the book myself, and I see people, in fact, I just recently watched a video called Rogue Clubs Be Gone. The people that you're talking about, they end up being a part of rogue clubs. And if you're a rogue club, people are going to do stuff like that. But if you're not a rogue club, you got your mentors, and the mentors are walking the new members through the process. Thank you. Thank you for that statement, for that comment.
Great. And there's the leadership handbook that really lays them out. And I love the idea that every officer should have a mentor. And maybe that's something we should implement, because I don't think we have official mentors for each of our officers. And since we have 15 DTMs, I think we could locate a mentor for each of our officers. That's beautiful. Well, thank you, Victor. That was amazing. I loved how you shared the roles in the meetings and the roles for the officers, and invited all of our members to become members of the officer teams, because we're looking for more people to serve in the VPE role with Easy Speak. We're looking for more people to serve in the VPPR role, because we have YouTube, which we're live streaming to right now. And we are looking for pretty much every single role. We're looking for someone else to help out, because many hands makes light work. Thank you so much, Victor.
And
It's really hard to shut up, but I'll do it.
I wonder, Victor, if you have in the break time, if you have time to answer some very interesting questions that Laura Natalie posed. They're very valuable questions, I think. One is, if you have time, what is the most important lesson you learned from being a member of Toastmasters? And then she also asked, what would be your advice for a new member who just entered Toastmasters? Now, you may not have time, and we may need to take a 5-minute break, but I just thought those questions were so valuable.
When do you want me to answer this question? Now or later? That's all you need
In
to
the break.
tell me.
In the break. We're going to go to break. So we can leave the recording rolling, because we'll answer that during the break. And I also want to say that Taufik had a question about shadow officers. We haven't called them shadow officers, but that's basically our people on the committee. And some people didn't like being called shadow officers, so we didn't call them that here. So it just depends upon what you like or don't like. But shadow officers, some people thought that they were going to be, super agents and men in black, and they didn't like it. Okay, so Tala, can you call us to break?
Yeah, sure. But before that, I have to do something. Actually, our journal evaluator needs to introduce the grammarian. So, or maybe we can directly
Yes,
have her.
I'm
I
right.
was so
Yeah.
excited about what was going on and happening in the meeting with all our guests that I oversaw Sally Reyes' role as the grammarian. Can you please tell us what our word for the day is? That is a gorgeous sweater you have on. I want one just like it. Send it to me, please.
Oh, yes, thank you. Our word of the day is accountability. Stand in your word and serve that office as conscientiously as you can. And we will all be refreshed and assured that what was said yesterday will continue on. So thank you. Please think seriously about that wonderful word, accountability. It's taken too lightly.
Well,
Thank you very much.
Sally, thank you so much for doing that for us. I appreciate that. And Tala, you are a man of accountability. Hats off to you, sir. Here we go.
Thank you so much. And before we move on to the break, I just need to say one thing. Toastmaster DTM Victor Irving, only you can make a duet with a lawnmower sound like Bohemian Rhapsody. With that, we will go on to a 5-minute break, and I'll request the timer to put on a timer for 5 minutes.
And Victor, if you want to answer those questions, that would be awesome.
Sure. What is the most important lesson you learned from being a member of Toastmasters? If I were to really stretch my imagination, I would say that the most important lesson I learned from Toastmasters, and I've been a Toastmaster for 20 years, so I didn't know this 20 years ago, is that something that I consider second nature, something that's just true about me, that's been true about me my whole life, talking about it will provide a really good speech, and somebody else would just love to hear it. So I have things to contribute that I don't even know that I have to contribute. So if you're a new Toastmaster and you may not think you have something to contribute, believe me, there are experiences that you had that you just think nothing of, but other people would break down the door to attend a session where you're talking about that thing. And see, what would be your advice for a new member that just entered Toastmaster? Well, a new member that just entered Toastmasters would do well to remember one of the statements I live by. Nobody joins a team to sit on the bench. Now you have teams where people sit on the bench, but nobody joins a team to sit on the bench. Nobody goes, man, I hope I make the New York Giants so I can sit on the bench. Sitting on the bench is not why people join teams. And we don't believe that people join Toastmasters to sit on the bench. So if you are a new Toastmaster and you join, the number one thing you want to do is you want to chase down that vice president of education and put you on the schedule to do your icebreaker. You are ready to do your icebreaker. In fact, you want to do your icebreaker in the same meeting you join if possible, because by joining a team and going in right off the bat when the game starts, that's going to catapult you into success, and it's going to let everybody know that you're serious about what you're doing. And despite the fact that we want to treat everybody as though they're serious about what they're doing, the person who jumps in right away, or we know that they're serious, they're not just talking. What else do I have? I think that's a, thanks, Victor. Thanks for making it fun. Oh, you just saying that.
Thank you, Victor. Enjoy your break. What's left of it?
Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've had a wonderful break. Now, I believe that our breakout rooms have already been populated, and we can move on to our education session. Today,
Are we ready to move everyone to the Speechcraft room? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay.
What did you say? And somebody's talking to me? Am I missing it?
Absolutely.
Okay, off we go.
Okay, let us know once it's done. Tawfiq, can you monitor and make sure they're all gone? And then let us know. And we're going to have a change in speakers. Unfortunately, Ekta had trouble with her internet, so she won't be able to be a speaker today. However, our lovely timer, Gayatri, will take her place, and the evaluator already has her details and will introduce them a little later. She's for our second speaker. Okay, Taufik, have they all gone over to Speechcraft?
No, I don't. I haven't.
Sally needs to go.
I don't know what to press because I pressed it early and
wait a second. So how can Sally get over there?
please.
Can you move her? Oh, you didn't have SC in front of your name. Taufik, can you move Sally to the Speechcraft room, please?
Now with this virtual chocolate.
I got this.
You can have 2 boxes of virtual chocolates. Thank you so much, Taufik. Is everyone gone now?
Yes, please.
Okay, back to you, Tala.
Thank you so much, President Cynthia. Now we move on to our prepared speeches. And our first speaker for today is Toastmaster Michelle Petikolas, and she will be evaluated by our very dear VPPR, Toastmaster Taufik. So I will introduce the evaluator first. Taufik Kader is a charter member of Leaders Worldwide and an important part of the executive committee as the VPPR. In his short Toastmasters career of just over 1 year, he has been in several high-profile leadership positions. He has been the Toastmaster in a number of events, including evaluation and speech contests and the recent Canva technical workshop at District 57, taught by the world-famous DTM Cajetan Barreto. He will be evaluating Dr. Michelle Petikolas, who is an international speaker, distinguished Toastmaster, Select Distinguished Area Director and Assistant Division Director, founder of Second Chance Secrets, a professional training center. She enables coaches, healers, and change makers to unleash the true brilliance so they can attract premium clients with high-end programs that can make a difference in this world. So I hand over the charge now to our evaluator to introduce the project. Over to you, Toastmaster Taufik.
Thank you, TMOD, DTM Tala. My champion speaker, Dr. Michelle, she will be attempting Visionary Communication Level 2, Understanding Your Communication Style, Lessons in Leadership Style. The purpose of this project is for the member to identify his or her primary leadership style or styles. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her primary leadership style or discuss leadership styles in general. I wish Dr. Michelle Petikolas all the very best. The timing criteria is 5 to 7 minutes. Over to you, TMOD. TMOD.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Taufik.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me now? Great. All right.
Yeah. So
do you, I'm curious, consider yourself as a leader? Can I see a show of hands? How many of you consider yourself as leaders? All right. Of course, I would expect that. This is Leaders Worldwide. But to be honest with you, I never thought of myself as a leader. I always associated leadership with those charismatic types like Martin Luther King or Gandhi or Abraham Lincoln. And they were all assassinated. So leadership was not on the top of my list when I joined Toastmasters. In fact, I didn't even know leadership was part of the mission statement of Toastmasters until I became president of our club 6 months later. Okay, so you might be laughing. You're not into leadership and yet you became a president? Well, to tell you the truth, I wasn't really acting as a leader. I was being a hero. The former president, he had been president for 2 whole years and he was desperate to get out of it. And I wanted to save him. I asked him, well, what does it mean to be a president? And he said, it's the easiest job. You delegate everything. Well, that only works if you have somebody to delegate to. So that was my first mission, was to get enough people into the club so that we actually had enough people to propagate or populate our officers' positions. Now, to tell you the truth, I want to talk to you today about leadership types, which is different from leadership styles. Leadership styles are kind of like outfits that you try on and you see which ones work for you and which ones don't. But leadership type is something that's really embedded in you from your childhood. So remember, I told you I came as a hero. I was saving the former president. That's kind of a part of a type, and the type is the pleaser. By the way, Toastmasters is full of pleasers. Pleasers are people who in childhood didn't get enough love and attention. And so they developed this style of pleasing, or this habit of pleasing, in order to get affirmation and love. And what's not to like about Toastmasters? There are so many ways that you can get encouragement and affirmation. And when you get feedback, it's given with a spoonful of sugar. It is a place that attracts pleasers. Now, there are certain aspects of pleasing that make you a good leader. Well, a particular style of leadership, which is either affiliative, or the other one is, I can't remember it at the moment, is altruistic, because pleasers are altruistic. They care about everybody because they want those everybody's to care about them. But there's a downside. There are weaknesses or parts of being a pleaser that you need to work on. And that's part of my message today, is when you look at the type, how can you grow? How does Toastmasters and stepping into leadership actually cause you to grow? So the downside of being a pleaser is, one, sometimes you have a hard time setting your limits. You take on too many things. It's hard to say no because you want to please everybody. But the other problem is vision. When I became president, all I was concerned about was fulfilling my responsibility. I didn't have a big vision until, of course, I realized that there weren't enough members to fill the officer roles. Then I had a pretty good vision, but I didn't have a big vision. My big vision didn't come until later, after I finished the presidency, and my mentor said to me, "How would you like to be the coordinator of a Speechcraft?" I said, what? And she said, you needed to be a DTM, a Distinguished Toastmaster. I didn't even know I wanted to be a Distinguished Toastmaster. But then she told me her vision. She said, well, this way, members of Heart to Heart will all get trained, and the higher ones, the ones that are more advanced, will get an opportunity to have more visibility. And best of all, we'll be able to start a new club. Now, this particular mentor is an example of the other type of leadership, which I call the controller, who comes from a background that's more chaotic, where they actually had to learn to take care of themselves and have a big vision in order to survive. So they have some weak parts too. For example, they may not understand the motivation of their various members and committee members because they're busy seeing the bigger picture and busy controlling things. So that might be an area where they need to work on themselves. Another place is that, like the pleaser, sometimes they take on too much. But they don't take on too much because they have a hard time saying no. They take on too much because they have such a huge vision that they just keep on adding on. So they have something to learn about setting limits for themselves as well, so that they don't get overwhelmed. Now, the interesting thing is that the leader, the pleaser, and the controller often attract each other. They kind of help each other on the weaknesses in each of them. And sure enough, my mentor has helped me to have a bigger vision, or at least to step into a bigger vision. And I hope that I have helped her to understand how her team members work. Now, in terms of reining in her vision, no, not much. But together we can grow and learn how to be better. And one thing I would almost want to also say is that a district needs both kinds of leaders. They need those visionaries, which is really scary for a pleaser because, oh my gosh, somebody might not like me. You need somebody who really has that confidence to take people forward. I invite you, like Victor said in his keynote speech, to take on a leadership role if you haven't already. It is a really great way to develop yourself, to develop that leadership as well as communication. And back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Michelle. Next, we have our second speaker, who is Toastmaster Gayatri. She will be evaluated by our second star evaluator, DTM Hannah Schmidt. She has been a Toastmaster for 11 years. She belongs to a club in Sydney, Singapore, Windhoek, and Toronto. Since 2020, she calls herself a Zoom hopper, as she has visited Toastmasters Club all over the globe and is still enjoying it. She has been a VP Education and Secretary. Currently, she is a treasurer for her home club in Windhoek and VPM for a club in Toronto. She has also been area director in Windhoek, Namibia. And she will be evaluating our star speaker, Toastmaster Gayatri. And exactly like her evaluator, she is also holding multiple executive committee positions in 2 different clubs, at least those 2 that I know of. She is the VP Education of one of the best clubs in the world, I must say, to me speak, or my speak Toastmasters Club. And she is also the Vice President Education of Kolkata Advanced Toastmasters Club. But much more than that, she happens to be a very passionate and grounded speaker who always manages to touch your heart. So today, she will be delivering a 5 to 7 minute speech, and I will ask her evaluator to introduce the project. Over to you, DTM Hannah.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That is now at very short notice that I have to evaluate Gayatri instead of Ekta, but nevertheless, I'll do my best. I think, let me just quickly check. It's level 1 speech, 1 motivational strategies, and it's 5 to 7 minutes. And the purpose of the speech segment is, the purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback and apply the feedback to a second speech. So I shall look what she did the first time and compare it for this time. Over to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you so much, DTM Hannah. So everyone, please put your hands together for Toastmaster Gayatri. Toastmaster Gayatri, what's the title of your speech?
What's wrong with you?
I'm just asking the title of your speech. Everyone, Toastmaster Gayatri, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, Toastmaster Gayatri?
Nothing is wrong with me. I don't understand. Why is it that everybody has to just assume that something is wrong with me? Let me clear it once and for all. Nothing is wrong with me. I'm fine. I remember I was 4 years old. I was on a vacation with my family. It was a hilly area. I was sitting on a bench, eating peanuts, minding my own business. My heart patient grandfather and 5 months pregnant mother watching me in adoration. Out of nowhere, suddenly a big monkey came and sat right next to me. We looked at each other, and suddenly he started snatching those peanuts from my hand. My half-patient grandfather shouted at me, "You foolish girl! Let it go, I'll buy you more peanuts." "I will not give my peanuts!" My 5 months pregnant mother, in tears, pled to me, "You foolish girl, let it go, we'll buy you new peanuts, we'll buy you more peanuts." "I will not give my peanuts." The tug of war for those peanuts between that monkey and me went on for some time. That tug of war went on until the nails of that monkey dug into my palms and the pain was unbearable. And in that one moment, I just left the grip. The monkey fell down and I was taken to safety. Time passed by. I grew older, none the wiser. The monkey was replaced by people who hurt me, who caused me pain. And the peanuts were replaced with trauma and grudges. It was when I was in school, high school. Remember your high school time? Getting all nostalgic? Not me though. In school, I was bullied. Everybody called me cow because I was fat. What was wrong with me was I let those actions affect me. I let those actions hurt me. And I let those actions mold my personality. Initially, I just laughed it off. But later on, I started retaliating. And that retaliation made my personality over-aggressive in nature. To not get hurt, I started becoming so aggressive that nobody should come close to me, near me, to hurt me. Time passed by, I grew older, none the wiser. This time, it was in office. I was a new person in office and I was working so hard to prove to my superiors that, hey, I am the best. That did not really go down well with my immediate supervisor. She was not happy with the praises I was getting from my superiors and her superiors. She started sidelining me. She started humiliating me in front of everyone. And she started picking on me at every time. Due to that over-aggressive nature I had developed over a period of time, in the heat of the moment, I just shouted at him, "You are an idiot!" Calling your boss an idiot in front of your entire team, no guesses there. I was not fired, but I did have to quit my job. That particular incident had me thinking, what was wrong with me? What was wrong with me was I let her actions define me. I let her actions bring out reactions from me. And I let her actions hurt me. I decided that something needed to be done. I put on my white clothes, took a staff in hand, and set out on a spiritual journey, including 3,500 kilometers of walking barefoot in wilderness for about 7 months. During this journey, I lived on alms, and I met a monk. I met several monks, but there was this one conversation I had with a monk. Something terrible had happened with us. Somebody had hurt him, and we moved on. And I asked him, why did you just let it go? That man practically threw a stone at you because he did not want to give you food. And he said, if I would have stayed there and engaged with him, what would I have gained? I am responsible for my own actions. Should I really take responsibility for his actions as well? And that, my dear friends, was the eureka moment for me, because I stumbled upon realization and a solution to my problem. And the solution was one question. Yes, usually we go on looking for answers, but solutions to my problem was one question. And that question was, is it worth it? Aren't we suffering enough for our own mistakes, our own karma, that we should now start taking responsibility for other people's mistakes and other people's karma? And that is when that grip was left forever. No more peanuts in my life, and no more tug of war for those peanuts, because that is the value of your trauma and grudges. Every time you come across that thing, you should just ask one question. Is it worth it? All the pain and suffering? Is it worth it? Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gayatri. It was certainly worth it. Next, we move on to our table topics session. And today, our table topics master is Toastmaster Ania Lewis. Is she in the meeting?
Hi, Toastmaster Taha. Yes.
Oh,
I'm in
yeah,
the
there
meeting.
you are. There you are. I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
Anya, that's correct. Yes.
Ania. Okay. So over to you, madam.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Taha. So this is the session. Some persons may be actually been waiting on this session, and it might be a session that persons may dread. But this is the opportunity for persons to speak impromptu for no longer than 2 minutes. I have prepared a number of questions in accordance with the word of the day, and I'm asking for a few volunteers. So who would be my first volunteer? Show of hands, any show of hands? Or should I pick? Okay, I'm not seeing anyone, so let me pick.
You've got Laura and Rosalind are both volunteering.
Okay, so let's go with Rosalind first then. Okay, Rosalind, your question. Tell us about a time you made a mistake and the steps you took to correct it.
Wow, a lifetime of mistakes. Where shall I begin? You mean I only have to pick one? Golly jeepers. Well, there was one consequential event that my name was broadcast all over the world and I didn't like it. And I was a teacher in the colleges, and I was one of those pleasers that Michelle had talked about. I like to make everyone absolutely happy, so that when the students in my class failed to show up on time, I figured I would just give them an extra credit assignment. And the extra credit assignment was very simple. Just write a letter to the president. I don't care what you have to say. It doesn't really matter. Just write a letter, because you get the same standard response. Thank you for your comments. We'll get back to you. Well, these students didn't think that any message mattered. They said that I was one political party over the other, which never existed in the first place. And so therefore, my name was smattered all across the United States. People that I knew many years ago, what happened to you, Rosalind? What happened? That couldn't possibly be, that couldn't possibly be. People who used to love me began to hate me. But I did learn that, you know, there is a matter to keep records, that when you give out assignments, that there needs to be a point associated with them. Everything has a number, that there are rules and regulations, and you have to follow them. You know, I say to my students now, you can love me or you can leave me, but we pass this class not by my love or my hate, but by the points that you go ahead and earn, the points that you earn. And now when students come close to not passing the class, I send them not one note, not two notes. You know, I want to let you know you're close to not passing the class. If you'd kindly go ahead and respond to me, I can let you know what you can do, or otherwise you're dropped from the class. So, you know, the amazing thing from that time in that period is I got more job interviews than I'd ever got in my entire life. They thought they could keep me out of education, but you know what? I am still teaching 20 years to this day. Imagine that, a lesson I learned. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rosalind. What turned out to be an unfortunate event then turned out to be a blessing, earning opportunities to work in various institutions. Thank you so much for that. Do we have another volunteer? I believe I saw distinguished Toastmaster Victor.
We had a guest
I was telling you to
that volunteered.
Pick.
We had a guest.
Okay. Can we have a guest? Let me see.
You already had a guest that volunteered. It was the second person. I forget who it was, but
Laura.
Who was the second? Laura. Yeah, Laura volunteered. Great.
Okay, Laura, welcome. Thank you so much, Laura. Okay.
Thank you.
Your quote. I have a quote. So in your response, you're to use these two phrases. The first phrase is wake up. The next phrase is play your role. So we're asking that you create a quick speech, no longer than 2 minutes, using these two phrases.
Can you repeat them once again? Wake up and
play your role.
Play your role. Yes, all people, wherever you are now, whatever your time zone you're in right now, just wake up. Now, not the next minute, but right now, it's your time to take your role. We just had already wonderful speeches about taking your responsibility. And taking your responsibility, that's what we're able to do right now. We don't have to wait. It's now the moment to wake up. You don't have to sit down and think and wait till that alarm by some live event is waking you up. No, today, this moment, it's your time. It's your time to wake up. It's your time to be accountable to that desire, what you feel in your heart. What is already maybe calling you from the moment that you wake up? Because when you wake up, you cannot lay back and think, let me just wait another day. Because at the end of the day, it's you. You have to look in the mirror, being accountable to yourself, and thank yourself at the end of the day that you take your role. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Laura, for such a motivating speech. Definitely don't hesitate, don't wait, just wake up, just take action and play your role. Do we have time for a final speaker? Do we have time for a final speaker? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Let's try
Philip has
another
raised
guest.
his hand. Philip has raised his hand.
Philip, okay. Thank you so much, Philip. Welcome.
Hello.
Okay. Your quote is, accountability is important in being a successful leader. Accountability is important in being a successful leader. Do you agree or not? So if you agree, you give a speech in support. If you do not agree, you give a brief speech against.
Madam Toastmaster, you said accountability, didn't you? Did you say accountability?
Yes, that is correct. Accountability is important in being a successful leader.
It's actually quite an easy topic to answer because it's very black and white, or black or white. You're either for it or you're against it. And I believe that it's absolutely integral to leadership to be accountable. Because we had somebody else talk about leadership earlier on, and there are controllers and there are pleasers and so on, but there are also other people who pass as leaders, and what they do, in fact, is to insist that you do what they say. Their interpretation of democracy is that everybody has an equal chance to do what they say. And those kinds of people do not believe in the concept of accountability. What do I mean by accountability? What I mean by that is that whatever decisions you take, and whatever decision you as the leader ask other people to take, in the end, you have to accept the responsibility for the consequences of those decisions. And accepting the consequences of your decisions is what I mean by accountability. Because ultimately, you have to always accept that you are responsible on behalf of the community, or on behalf of the team, or on behalf of the club. You cannot, as the leader, demand that people do exactly what you say and nothing else. And so you have to take on the responsibility for the consequences of your decisions. And that is why I believe that accountability is essential, an essential part of leadership. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Prospective toast guest, Philip, sorry. Definitely you have to take responsibility for our consequences. And in essence, that helps us to be a better leader, not only accountability for ourselves, but accountability for all players. Thank you so much. Back over to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ania, for that beautiful table topic session. All three speeches proved to be very inspiring. And of course, you were the driving force since you assigned the questions. Thank you so much once again. Now we move on to our journal evaluation session. And the journal evaluator for today is Toastmaster Rosalind Khan. So, Madam, over to you.
To be with.
I think you're muted, Rosalind.
You know, I always have to make those grand entrances. It's always me in those grand entrances. I'm here, I'm present. So anyhow, sorry about that. I always love to make those entrances. So as our general evaluator, I'd like to go ahead and call on the evaluator number one. And the evaluator number one was Tafiq. Tafiq is the evaluator who is going to evaluate Michelle's speech.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, and especially Dr. Michelle Pericolas. Leadership is the ability to get extraordinary achievement from ordinary people. I particularly loved about your connect with audience. Like a training session, you asked a question, asked the audience to raise their hand on what they felt or how they felt about the leadership. When you asked the question, they raised the hand, the connect was made. That was brilliant. I also liked about how you explained the difference between the traits and the styles. You did a great job on explaining the roles and how to move forward. I'm sure all of us enjoyed it. This shows accountability. What I would love and like to challenge you is on playing your vocal variety. You were constant on explaining the traits and then explaining the roles, but I wanted you to feel and explain those characters and play the characters and possibly the positions. You could experiment with being dramatic, I'm still working on it myself. And I feel that the visionary leader and the pleaser could have been explained in their respective roles. In summation, clarity as usual for Dr. Michelle was excellent. Loved the eye contact. Gestures were there, but as I mentioned, it could have been more appreciated like a contest when you play those characters. In my opinion, as your audience, I loved it, and I would have loved even more if those characters would come in place. But as usual, and I love Dr. Michelle as my guru in the evaluation, as what she explained, the sandwich method, I'm using the same. I hope you like it, and I want to be the pleaser and not the other one. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Wow, right on the money, God. We see several things in the same way, and I loved it. All right, we're going to our second evaluator, and our second evaluator is going to be Hannah Schmidt. Hannah Schmidt will be our second evaluator.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator Toastmasters, and especially Gayatri. What an honor to be on this platform, Leaders Worldwide Open House. A Toastmasters wears many hats, and Gayatri did the right thing. Accountability to jump in as a backup speaker. Congratulations, very well done. I'm going to use the Toastmasters or the sandwich Toastmasters for the evaluation. Something positive, something constructive, and something for encouragement. Gayatri, you had the audience in stitches with your very first question. Everybody started laughing because what was going on here now? Until you corrected them that the speech is what is wrong with me and not what is wrong with you. Very well done. As I said, that caught the audience's immediate attention, and they concentrated on your speech. Your stage presence and movements matched your actions. Yet you could have changed your voice variety according to the characters you presented there, like your grandfather, your mother speaking, you speaking, and everybody else speaking. Just give a bit more modulation, a bit more vocal variety in your speech. Some encouragement. Keep up your good stage movement and vocal variety, your eye contact, and keeping the audience connected to your voice and screen presentation so that they can listen and look forward to your next speech. Very well done. I look forward to evaluating you some other time. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Hannah, thank you so much. I especially enjoyed that beautiful accent. Had me mesmerized from top to bottom. Love it, love it, love it. All right, we're going to call on the report from our timer, and that would be Gayatri doing several roles today.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator. So here is the timer's report. Our first keynote speaker, Victor Irving Jenkins, he took 17 minutes, 17 seconds, and the question and answer session went on for 4 minutes and 35 seconds. Table topic speakers, Rosalind took 2 minutes and 12 seconds, Laura spoke for 1 minute, 22 seconds, and Philip spoke for 1 minute and 55 seconds. Our evaluators, evaluator number 1, Tawfiq, spoke for 3 minutes, and our evaluator number 2, Hannah, spoke for 2 minutes and 15 seconds. As for our speakers, first speaker spoke for Michelle. She spoke for 7 minutes and 39 seconds, which was majorly because it was my fault. The red card was shown a little later. So it was entirely my fault. And second speaker, I spoke for, again, 7 minutes and 39 seconds. And this time it was not the fault of red card. It was I went over time. Thank you so much. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Gayatri. That was right on the money. They say timing is the essence of everything. We couldn't have anything without the concentration on our time. Let me go ahead and call on a grammarian, Sally Reyes, for her report.
Oops, she's in the speechcraft room, so maybe we'll hear something from her later.
Okay. So then let me go ahead and give a evaluation of the meeting at this particular point. So the thing I love and admire the most about this group is our willingness to get our meeting started on time. There are people who have prompted us, it's time to get started, it's time to get started, it's time to get started, and to get us off and get us going. I truly admire the way that we welcome each and one of our guests. And, you know, I was in a meeting today and he said the greatest thing that you can do is to give accolades to others. And as you went ahead and began the meeting, there could be tears in my eyes as you said, you know, congratulations and welcome, Rosalind. The show that you did had over 1,000 people, and thank you to Rabia for being there. And, you know, by making sure that we acknowledge Victor, because what is really special about this group is how we're all really a family. That you could come visit us just one time and we make you feel like you belong, whether it's Hannah or it's Gayatri or, you know, the lady who did the table topics masters. Everyone is important in our group and we make them feel valued and important. And that's why I think that our group has grown and we attract so many wonderful people. And then we go to the evaluations, and the evaluations we're right on the mark. You know, we give them the goods, we give them the bads, we give them the areas for development. And I think each of them could be apropos candidates for the evaluation contest if it wasn't said so myself. And, you know, we run like clockwork. You know, Tala catches my back, I catch his back, Cynthia goes ahead and catches our back. And we're all about helping people to look at their absolute best. Speakers, congratulations. Evaluators, congratulations. And congratulations to all the functionaries. And back to our Toastmaster, Tala.
Thank you so much for that wonderful and true to form, very crisp, and at the same time, very detailed journal evaluation report. And now it is time to hand back the charge to our president, DTM, Cynthia.
Great. And I'm going to call, is Kathleen back from the Speechcraft yet? Probably not. Okay, so well, she was just going to say that we're using Easy Speak for our roles and accountability. And so please answer your emails saying that you're coming and saying that you're going to take a role. And then we're working towards having the ability for you to book all of your roles in the future. You already have the ability to book all your speaker roles in the future on Easy Speak, but we're looking for you to be able to book your other roles like evaluator, Toastmaster, etc. So keep on keeping on with Easy Speak, because that's going to allow me to step away from the VPE team and not be a member of the VPE team. I really have been not only a member, I've been the longest working member in the week. I work with Victor and with Mohammed and with Kathleen, and it's just taking up way too much of my time. So I'm looking forward to getting off the team and just bringing our great keynote presenters and our DTM speakers and evaluators for the DTM Showdown, and also working on some other special projects, including getting our website up and running for our Speakers Bureau. That's still in the works. We're hoping for that sometime soon. I'm going to try to meet with them again in India. I've got 3 Toastmasters that are web designers in India, and we're going to be meeting in the next couple of weeks. And then we have something very special, and I cannot work on this until I can get off the VPE team. So make sure to post your information in Easy Speak, and then I can start working on this. And this is something for all of us here at Leaders Worldwide. I want to create a Leaders Worldwide TEDx event where all the speakers would be members of Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club. And I'm sure you're just excited to give a TED Talk. I know Rosalind has given 3 already, and she's actually making the connection between me and a TEDx organizer who's going to show me how to organize it for Leaders Worldwide. And we're going to take that one step further. I want us to be a part of a philanthropic activity with this TED Talk. And I want to raise, hopefully, $70,000 so that we can build a school in the poverty-stricken rural areas of Pakistan. That would be so fantastic if we could build an entire school. And I think we can. And if we miss the shot and we don't raise $70,000, whatever we raise, maybe we can bring a computer lab or a library to the schools or support some students to get their education. Because education of a country's students, especially like developing countries' students, and especially girls, which this will benefit many, many girls, raises the GDP of a developing country so much. So we really want to support them. You know, feed a man a fish, and you feed him. You teach him to fish, and you feed him for life. We really want to support education here. So we're hoping for that. So make sure to sign up for Easy Speak. So every time you sign up for Easy Speak, you can think, I'm supporting a child to go to school in Pakistan. How important is that? Great. And I'm also making a way for me, yourself, to be a TEDx speaker. Because all the TEDx speakers for our event will be chosen from Leaders Worldwide members. Awesome. So those are also my announcements. The other announcement I have to make, just, well, we're having a holiday party on December 13th. We're still going to have our speechcraft, but in both rooms, we're going to have a party, and we're going to do Add a Tale in our Toastmaster or table topic session. So one person will start with a tale or a story, and then the next person will add on to the story, and we'll have extended table topics in order to do that. So that should be really fun. Mark your calendars for December 13th. And that will be at our afternoon session, same time as now. So it will be 11 a.m. starting at 10:30 with our global networking and getting ready, and then 11 o'clock to 1 p.m. Pacific/San Francisco time. And you can check your local calendar. And all of the countries in the world that have changed to from daylight savings time to standard time have done so. Thankfully, it's complete now. Great Britain has done it, and the United States has done it. So we're going to be set at this time going forward. So check your local time and make sure you can come on time. So great. Now it's time for our takeaways and chocolates. And Taufik, I owe you 2 boxes of virtual chocolates. So would you like to share and get your 2 boxes?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay. How was your experience? What are you taking away with you from today?
Especially love the keynote session from DTM Victor, the mesmerizing session. He's been already on the podcast like WhatsApp. So I hope we get to hear him more.
Awesome. And maybe he can be on a podcast for Leaders Worldwide or a clubhouse room for Leaders Worldwide. We're hoping to do that in the future. I think that would be great. Awesome. Are you ready for your 2 boxes of chocolates? Do you want something specific or a smattering, or what kind of chocolates do you want?
Whatever you love.
Okay. They're kind of heavy. So you ready? You ready?
Ready.
1, 2, 3. Oh,
1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. I hope they made it through the airwaves to Bahrain.
Yes, we did.
Awesome. And that takes us to Victor. Victor Irving Jenkins, would you like to share your takeaways from today? Although you gave us a lot of takeaways, what are your takeaways? You're on mute. The phrase of the day.
Well, I know I'm not above making mistakes. That's what I know. I just was on mute. And that's pretty much the most, if I was gonna get embarrassed about anything, it would probably be that. But I'm not embarrassed. I appreciate being able to do the keynote, and I would like to know how did the timer get unpinned? Because I pinned the timer when I began. How does that happen?
Gremlins.
Somebody knows
Gremlins.
the answer. Somebody knows the answer. Who knows the
It's
answer?
got to be just gremlins. You know, they're left over from Halloween.
It's a
But
conspiracy.
Okay.
All good. We're actually early, so we did great.
Okay.
We could have taken probably another 5 minutes from you. That was awesome.
Thank you for saying so.
Thank you for giving such a great presentation. Would you like a chocolate?
No, but it's disrespectful to refuse, so I'll take a chocolate. I'll take 10.
You'll take 10.
I'll
Okay.
take 10. Who wants to be disrespectful?
Okay, here you come. 1, 2,
Okay,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now,
Okay,
don't
thank
eat them
you.
all at once. You might get virtual sickness.
But who wants that?
Okay, and our lovely Toastmaster of the day, DTM Tala bin Hamid, what is your takeaway?
Well, so much to unpack here, honestly speaking. First of all, sincere gratitude to DTM Jenkins for refreshing our memories and telling us all over again what these roles are about. And I loved how you add subtle jokes and puns in between your speech. That comes so naturally to you. So that's spellbinding. And secondly, I was astounded by Toastmaster Gayatri's speech today, especially since she claims she wasn't prepared. Now I'm convinced that she did something, and Ekta had to withdraw because she sounded. I mean, did she seem unprepared to any of you? Not to me. So that's and again, the table topics need to be highlighted. They are amazing. And lastly, I'm all aboard with DTM Jenkins that you don't request people to answer table topics question. You just put them on the spot. So yeah, more power to you.
Awesome. And would you like a chocolate?
Well, yeah, I would love that.
Okay. Anything particular?
Yeah, coffee flavored with pine nuts. Yeah.
With pine nuts. Yummy.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had that. Coffee with pine nuts on chocolate. Oh, I love it. Here it comes. Woo! Thank you.
I'm not sharing.
They're virtual, so you don't have to share. You can keep them hidden from your children. And does anyone else want to share? You have your hands raised. I'm going to go to Ekta first, but anyone else want to share? If Taufik, you can keep an eye on who has their hand raised. And not Ekta, I'm sorry, our replacement for Ekta today, Gayatri. Woohoo!
Thank you so much, Cynthia. And honestly, today was a very, I'd call today what happened as serendipity, because I had presented a part of the speech as a humorous speech, something just to finish a project in Karachi Toastmasters Club. And Talha bin Hamid was my evaluator. And he put this thing in my brain that maybe this particular theme has potential to be more than a humorous speech. So he suggested that I should think about it as my contest speech. And since then, I have been thinking how to convert that particular thread into a contest speech, and that is how I arrived at this at the speech, and I'm still developing it. It's still in the process of development. I haven't found the right conclusion yet. I'm still working on the main body, but I was really happy to perform it in front of him once again, just to show him what his feedback has done to the speech. Thank you so much.
Great. And I was hoping you were a DTM so we could have you speak at Leaders Worldwide. And look what happened. You got to speak at Leaders Worldwide. So everything happens for a reason.
I know. I was also waiting, like, you know, when I get my DTM, I was going to request you to please let me speak at Leaders Worldwide.
And when are you getting your DTM?
I am barely 1 year old in Toastmasters.
Oh, well, you have 6 months to finish. Because Linda Patton, she did it in 18 months. So I'm sure you'll be able to finish it as long as you get your district, your area director in. That would be great.
Yes. Fingers crossed. Let's see.
Well, someone I know they did 4 times in 5 years. So yeah.
I know that someone. I'm going to reach out to that someone to figure out how to do that.
And he might share with you. And he maybe even will mentor you. Ooh.
I have heard he's very generous. I have heard of his generosity.
Yes. Throw down the gauntlet. Okay, great. Would you like a chocolate? Yeah,
yes,
you deserve
please.
it.
Hazelnut, walnut, and almonds.
Ooh, a nutty chocolate. Hazelnut, walnuts, and almonds.
70% dark chocolate.
Oh, ooh, love it.
Love
it. Love it. Here it comes. Woo! You
Okay,
deserve
Cynthia,
it, Gayatri.
You have 2 people with their hands up.
Okay.
I'll start with Anya.
Oh, yes, Anya. Those were amazing table topics.
Thank you so much. So great you guys enjoyed and great speeches to the participants. I just wanted to share, this was my first meeting and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm loving the interaction. I'm loving the humor. I'm also distinguished Toastmaster Victor, great informational session, great initiative, Cynthia. I'm really looking forward to hearing more and being able to be a part of those initiatives as well. So just keep me posted.
Fabulous, because we're looking for team members to get that TEDx event going and the philanthropy. So it'll be great. Okay, awesome. I'm going to keep your email on my speed dial.
Okay, fantastic.
I'll need to get your WhatsApp too.
Okay, I'll drop it with you. Then no problem.
Yeah, drop it in a message to me. I'd love to. Great. And thank you. And would you like a chocolate? I almost forgot your chocolate.
Of course, pecan flavored or macadamian.
Oh, oh, yummy. Here it comes.
And then Hannah has
Hannah,
her hand up
yes,
as well.
Please, Hannah. What are you
Yes.
taking away?
Yes, thank you very much. It was a very exciting, lively meeting today. I didn't expect that one can get chocolates at the end of the meeting. Well, then I'll come again for more chocolates. Thank you very much. It was a super meeting. Thanks.
Wonderful. And we hope to have you back for our DTM speaker. You were an evaluator. Now we'd love to have you as a speaker for one of our future showdowns. Great. What kind of chocolate would you like?
Some Cadbury dark chocolates, please. I love dark chocolate.
Oh, I have some Belgian dark chocolate. Would you like some?
Yay! Lovely.
Here
I'll
it
catch
comes.
Woo! Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. And Rabia, if you're still awake, I'd love to hear from you. Rabia, is Rabia still here?
Her mic is closed because people are sleeping where she is.
Yeah.
Okay.
She cannot speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's got
I can't
people
speak
who are
right
speaking.
now. Okay. But she did say such an amazing, Farah, is she available to speak?
Nobody looks like
Okay,
Laura.
no.
Yes,
No.
yes, I am. I have to say, I was just typing this on the chat that it's pretty late here. It's almost 2 a.m. But the session is so engaging and so lively that I'm just not able to put my phone away. So I really thoroughly enjoyed the speeches, especially the table topics, and how you guys interacting with each other. You truly give out a family vibe, which I'm really enjoying. Like I said, I'm not able to put down my phone and go to sleep just yet. Thank you for having.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Listen, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. I hope to be part of the Easy Speak that you're talking about and the TED Talk. So I'm so looking forward to it.
Well, we can talk. Yeah, definitely. And Athara was one of our amazing speakers on the Global English Summit. So we just want to congratulate you and hope you have a good night's sleep. Would you like a virtual chocolate? It won't keep you up. It has no sugar and no calories.
And no
I'd
caffeine.
love oh yes, I'd love some dark 80% dark chocolate, please.
Ooh, 80%. Yum. Here it comes. Woo!
Thank you so much.
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna
Athara.
hide them under my pillow so nobody knows.
What was that?
I'm saying I'm gonna hide them under my pillow so nobody knows.
Yes, and you can eat them later. They won't go bad because they're virtual.
Yes, absolutely.
Beautiful. And Linda, do we have anyone else?
Well, Laura keeps popping up in the share window.
Ooh.
And yes, and I think I think she should share something.
Do you like to
Perhaps-
share, Laura?
Yes, that's fine. I don't know. It was just popping up, but I'm fine. I want to thank everyone. I really enjoyed the meeting. It was very inspirational. So thank you all. I really enjoyed.
Beautiful. And would you like a chocolate?
Yeah. With, I don't know it in English, hazelnuts.
Yes.
Ooh, hazelnut.
Ooh.
Okay, here it comes. Woo! And would our lovely guest from Ireland like to speak, Philip? Or anyone else? Any hands up?
I don't see Philip.
You don't see Philip. Okay. Or his
Michelle has her hand up.
Okay,
Michelle
great.
has her hand up. Yes.
Great.
Well, this is probably the first time I've been in the main room for a very long time. I'm always put in the speechcraft session. And what I have realized is with this DTM challenge, that the level of speeches in this room is outstanding. I mean, even the table topics, Rosalind was amazing with her table topics. I realize that Leaders Worldwide offers people who want to join us an opportunity to really up-level their speeches because you're exposed to speeches that are contest level. So that's my takeaway.
Absolutely. And this was your first time being a part of the DTM Showdown. Whoa, I love it. And the purpose of us creating the new DTM Showdown is to attract DTMs to our club. And it's been amazing. We've had so many amazing speakers and we got to hear Gayatri, even though she's not a DTM, because she stepped up to the plate. So I love it. And your speech today was amazing, Michelle. Really hit it out of the park.
And am I right? You know, one of those people who has vision, it's like they just keep on adding on to the vision.
Can't help myself, but thankfully my team is really great and forgiving. I really
Team,
appreciate
just
it.
know that you cannot play hero with her. You cannot save her. She will just go on.
On and on and on. But we just need more team.
You said you wanted a club of 100 people. I understand.
That's right.
Now.
That's right. 100 people. So we have to get some changes made in Easy Speak because they only allow for 101 members.
Oh, okay.
So we got to change that. Would you like a chocolate?
Yes, I would. I want 100% dark with almonds and salt.
And salt, sea salt, Himalayan sea salt?
Of course.
Of course. Here you come.
Himalayan sea salt.
There was no such thing. I mean, there was no such thing.
We're
Sea
But
salt
okay.
chocolates. Sea salt chocolates. Yes. Michelle,
Yes.
you should share them. Michelle, sharing is caring. We should share them.
Yes, yes. Are they great? 100%. It's just no sugar, just chocolate.
No sugar, just chocolate. Where you go? Woo! Awesome. I gave you enough to share.
Gayatri, check in with me later. I'll share it.
And here's yours, Gayatri, because you volunteered to speak at the last minute, really, and you were timer too. So Gayatri, here it comes, your special, only dark chocolate, Himalayan sea salt and almonds. Woo! Awesome. And do we have any other hands up?
I did not see any.
Okay, Linda, I would like to hear from you.
What would you like to hear from me besides the fact that it's 4 o'clock here and I've been on Zoom all day long?
All day long. Do you have any takeaways from today? The Speechcraft, was it good?
The Speechcraft was impeccable. It was glorious. It was beautifully done. And it had little to do with me. It had to do with all of the people who were in the room and how they supported each other, how they encouraged each other. The speech that Teresa gave was one of those that you go, but I want to hear more. There's more here. And that's the gift of a truly great speaker, is to leave your audience wanting more. And she definitely did that for us. The table topics that Cassandra had were so insightful. We got really deep answers from everyone. So I really appreciated all of the people who were in the room, and we played very nicely together. We danced back and forth with the timers, and it all worked out beautifully. So I thank you so very much for this fabulous Speechcraft crew.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that you're not having to do it yourself at all. You have all these little different facets that are working, and they were all our members.
Yeah.
So it's great. We're training our members in the Speechcraft with role fulfilling. So I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And Teresa, I think there's a keynote presentation in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
We'll
And
see.
Cassandra. Yeah. Cassandra, we're going to give you some kudos for your table topics, and you'll be doing them in the main room soon. So would you like a chocolate, Linda?
I would, and I'm going to follow Michelle. I want 100% dark chocolate, sea salt, and caramel.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes, here you come. Woo! And here's one for you, Cassandra. Woo! For Teresa. Woo! And with that, I'll say goodbye. Good evening, good afternoon, good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.